Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today we're going on with the full deck challenge number 3 and it is ran by Shana from ShanoukiArt, and I've got her link down below for you to go and have a look if you're interested in looking at what it's about, or if you're wanting to look at everybody else who's doing it on the hashtag. So what it's basically about is that you are altering one playing card every week, and Shana gives you a prompt from week to week telling you what it's going to be. And this week's prompt is song lyrics. There's 2 rules. You have to carry over something from your last week's card, and then you also need to use a constant. So my constant is paint swatches, and I've just got to put something from a paint swatch on the face of every card. And last week we did birds, and I did our lovely steampunk owl. I've got lots of different shades of metallics here, golds and bronzes and champagne sort of colour. I'm going to carry over some of the metallics. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to do it in some of the cardstock or whether I'll do it in some of the gold watercolour that is in the background, but I'll carry over some metallic. And you can see that I have already pulled out a card. I've pulled out the Queen of Clubs. The clubs is irrelevant, but the Queen is important for my song lyrics. You can see also on the back, I've covered the back. I've just put on some scrapbook paper that has some metallic gold text, and I've stamped it today's date, and it's the 26th of August. So that's done and ready to go. So let's get started. I'll set up my table and tell you what I'm going to be doing. All right, I've pulled out some paint swatches here. I'm just going to pull out this one from Porter's Paints, and I'm going to write onto the top of the paint swatch the lyrics of the song. You can see also that I have pulled out some images of lavender. Some of you have probably already guessed what it's about. I just printed out some lavender sprigs in different sizes. I purchased a digital maybe about 4 or 5 years ago from Creative Market with all different herbs in it. I was making something, I needed herbs. So I've got the license, a commercial license on herbs. So I've got lots of different types of herbs. So I just printed one out, and then I put some gesso on it, clear gesso to seal it. And then I've put a little bit of watercolour onto it. So I'll show you that. And I've put a blue background in it, and then different shades of lavender or purpley blue or indigo, and some green. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because my granddaughter is 5, and she loves watching Cinderella. She's been watching Cinderella now probably since she was 2.5, something like that. She loves the nursery rhyme, Lavender Blue. Some of you might know it. It goes, lavender blue, dilly dilly, lavender green. When you are king, dilly dilly, I will be queen. So she always says to me all the time, Nonna, will you sing our song to us? So when the prompt came out last week from Shana saying song lyrics, you know, we watch Cinderella at least once a week, maybe twice a week. And we'd finished watching it, and I just thought, oh, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to just scribble onto the paint swatch the lyrics from that. Now, there's lots of different versions and meanings to it. It was originally sung as a folk song in the 17th century. You know, it was really a song for lovers, country lovers. But then it changed and became more of a nursery rhyme in the early 1800s. And then Disney picked it up and put it into a movie in 1948, more the version that we know now. And it was in a Disney film called So Dear to My Heart. And then more recently, it's obviously been put into the Cinderella movie. So that's where we've got it from, and we change the words around and we sing whatever. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to, with this very fine gold pen, it's called a juice up pen, and it's a 0.4 pen. It's fabulous. It's extremely fine. I'm going to just write on the lyrics onto the paint swatch, and then I'll cut them out and use them as part of the composition. So there we go. I have written the lyrics of the first 2 verses of the song onto the paint swatch, and I'm going to put that to the side now and let it dry. Okay, I'm just going to tear a little bit of this text paper and some of this music paper as well. I'm just going to glue this down with Mod Podge. So I'm just going to do a mini collage where I don't overthink it. So while I'm gluing this down, I'd just like to say a big hello and welcome to all of my new subscribers. I have quite a few new subscribers, which is lovely. Thank you for joining our community. I hope you enjoy the full deck challenge card that we're making today. And some of you found me from my tea bag video, which was wonderful, in the junk journal challenge that we're doing. But I've also been doing this full deck challenge all year, which I've loved doing actually. I've thoroughly enjoyed the creative side of it. And I've loved that there's been a different prompt every week actually. I love the variation in that. So I'm very grateful to Shana for running it and coming up with an interesting prompt each week. So what I'll do is I'll finish this and dry it off, and I'll pop back in a moment. Okay, I've got that covered, and I'm now going to just put one layer of tissue paper over the top of it just to pull it back a little bit. There we go, and you can see I've scrunched it up, so I'll dry that off and clean up my desk, and I'll be back. Okay, we've got that dried off now, and I'm going to just put a little bit of gesso on it as well, just so that the blacks are a little bit pushed into the background a little bit more. There we go. I want to still be able to just see the Queen, and some of the music notes. Beautiful. Okay, the back is dry, so let's put a little bit of gold on it, because so you'll see on the background of this card from last week that I have gold around the perimeter. So I'm going to do that again. So I'll pull out my gold watercolors, and these are the ones that I love using. So I'll just spritz the palette. And I've just spritzed the card. Now I'm going to put a little bit of the darker one around and let it just run through. There we go. And I'll just dry that off. Okay, all of that work, and I'm happy with the background. So all those steps is just really to get the background going. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. However, I obviously have our lyrics that I'm going to cut down. So let's do that. So now I just need to work out what I'm going to do with this. I do actually have a little bit of cheesecloth that I think I'd like to put down as a bit of a base for some texture. Let's tear up this lavender image. I'll just ink the edge of this image as watercolour of our lyrics. And I have a king and a queen. I think this colour is what I'm after. Yes, I'm liking this little Irish linen popping out the bottom. And we'll have our king and queen on there. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to write Dilly Dilly on the bottom here in my black pen. All right, I've had a little bit of a play with it, worked out what I want to do, so let's stick some things down now. We'll put on this little bit of cheesecloth and I'll just scrunch it around in the middle. And get it a little bit puckered up. Don't want it all flat. Let's glue it down, and I just want to push it tight over to just seeing the edge of that Queen of Clubs. I'll hold that on for the moment. And I'm liking the Dilly Dilly Irish linen. Glue that down a little bit harder. And this one. Let's glue it down. Okay, now we have our King and Queen, and I just want to nestle them together. Actually, I quite like it like that. And I have two little butterflies. So let's glue our King Queen down. I have a K and a Q that I die cut out. I just die cut them out of gold cardstock, and I did quite a few. I think I did 3 and then glued them together. And we'll put our Q on. Just hold it for a bit. I think I'll put one butterfly up on top of the lavender. And these little butterflies are just out of Tim Holtz, one of his little ephemera packs. And I'll stick this other butterfly down here. And we'll finish it off with a few white splatters. I'll grab the white splatters, put something down. I've done those white splatters. So I just feel that it needs a little bit of contrast on it. It needs a bit of oomph. So I'm just going to get my black pen and add a little bit of a heavier line work to some of this. And I'm going to just go around a little bit, like some loose lines around my lavender. I've dropped down to a 0.05 pen. Yes, that's a little better. Let's clear the decks and have a look at the card. Okay, so I finished putting on that black line work just to give it a little bit more contrast, and hopefully you can see picking that up. It is working a little bit, but I'm still not overly happy with it. It needs more contrast. So even though I wrote the gold lyrics here, I'm going to go over the gold lyrics just really scribbly with black pen, because I think that it needs the contrast for it to lift the card. So I'll do that. Let's do that now. That does look better. See how it gives it more depth? So it's fine for you to change things. If you think something's going to turn out a particular way and then it's not what you expect, then it's okay. It's a learning process, isn't it? So I'm just going to drop a few white splatters just onto that text so that it belongs to the story. And I think I'll just put a little bit of vintage photo around the edge to really beef up that edge. Yes, that's so much better. So I'm happier with it now, and you can see I did put some black line work on the lavender, and it did help, but not enough. So that's why I'm happier with this now. And I think putting the little bit of ink around the edge of the card made a big difference as well. So there we go. There's our card number 33, the prompt being lyrics, and it's the lyrics to the nursery rhyme. Lavender blue, dilly dilly, lavender green. When you are king, dilly dilly, I shall be queen. And that's why we have a king and a queen in gold die cut. And I carried over the gold from last week's card, and you can here's our owl with the gold carried over. My constant is a paint swatch, and I've got Irish linen paint swatch under there. So let's add that to the family. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. That would be wonderful. And subscribe to the channel. I will see you all very soon with another project. Have a great week creating, everybody. And thanks again. Bye for now.